Hey guys, so yesterday I published a video on the win gambit, the declined variation when your opponent plays b6, and we were talking about all sorts of traps in the variation where they play the most common line knight to c6. So if you haven't watched it yet, I highly recommend that you check it out. And in today's video we will be looking at the second most played variation, which is bishop to b6. I'm so stupid, that is b7. So like usual, our knight goes to c3, and here there are two main moves. The most played is d6 and the second is e6. So let's start with d6. Of course we play a rook to b1, hitting the bishop, and now most guys will go bishop to c6, which is not very good. But then the other guys will go queen to c7 to hold on to this bishop, which is actually maybe even arguably worse, because it always runs to these problems after bishop to b5 check. Yes, they can block this check, but we hurry up with blowing up the center with d4. If they capture, they open attack against our knight, but it's okay. We go knight to d5 to harass the queen, and the queen needs to stay in touch with this bishop. So queen goes to c8, and now our queen lands in the middle, hitting everybody, being well placed. Now they usually continue with e6 to harass our knight, but we don't care. We slide our queen to a4, putting pressure here. Yes, they can capture the knight, but we capture theirs with the check. We can trade queens, because in the end we are hitting them with queen captures on b7 check. And now this is already winning for white, and they should actually come closer to harass our rook, but I believe most guys will just go back, try to hold on to this pawn, which makes it even worse for them, because now we have time to open up the e-file, get castled, and just have so much more activity. Alright, let's go back. Anyways, most guys will play bishop to c6. Well, after this we are still going to hurry up with opening up the center. And after they capture our pawn, we recapture with the knight, and we are hitting their lovely bishop, which they of course want to preserve, so most guys play bishop to d7. Now we play pawn to e5, and they might be like, what? That's a free pawn, and now I'm hitting the knight, so what? Well, here comes queen to f3, hitting this rook, and there is actually nothing better for black to just grab this knight and lose their rook. And in this position, actually, I had this once in my games, and they captured also the second knight, which is a terrible move because of queen captures on b8, hitting this. Alright. So now they really have to develop the knight to c6. We can exchange the queens, and now hit them with bishop to b5. And once again they might be like, what? A free knight? Let me grab that. But then we grab on c6, they exchange like this, and get hit with the rook to b8 check. They need to move their king out of the way for us to grab this bishop. And now we are up a material probably, but most importantly we are up so much activity, and they cannot develop like this no matter what they do. Alright, let's go back. So after we capture the pawn on d4 to hit their bishop, well, their bishop is protected. So if your opponent is not a bishop lover, they might as well just think they, well, should play some development. And knight to f6 is the second most played move, but it's actually a losing blunder already. Can you see the tactics? Yeah, we sack the rook for the knight, because after they recapture, now we grab this bishop for free and we are winning. Okay, let's go back. That's enough of the d6. Now let's have a look at the e6 variations. So our next move is obvious, it's a rook to b1, and most guys go bishop to c6. Here in this position I recommend the move bishop to c4, and the reason is simple. The most played reply is a mistake, and it is pawn to d6. Here we are going to hurry up with opening up the center once again, and after this exchange, well, our traps work just the same as before. If the opponent develops the knight to f6, we sack the rook and then grab this bishop. And if they park their bishop on d7, here we can get simply castled. And actually, like all of the most played replies here are losing blunders, namely knight to f6, it runs to e5, and if they capture the pawn, queen to f3, and yeah, say bye to your rook. And then the second most played move, for example, is bishop to e7, and this one walks into the amazing move knight to f5. So we are threatening to grab this pawn, and they cannot capture the knight because of queen to d5, hitting the checkmate and hitting the rook, resolving in a winning position. Alright guys, I think this was enough traps for today. I call it the day. Have fun trying the wing gambit and have even more fun when they decline it. See you in the next video.